Build a House Life Skills series where we're here talking about food again. And if you are new to this and this is the first video you're watching, I'd suggest you go back and look at some of the videos that I have linked below about how you do meal planning, how you do food prep, how you have food substitutions, and the basics, 5 top skills of food management to help you in your process of how you actually are doing life with food and how you can do it well and not waste money and do it within a budget. Today we're going to be talking about a fun thing that I have continued to learn and continue to learn about, and that's how not to throw out as much food. Have you ever been in a situation where you're looking in your fridge and you see things that are just about bad? They're not bad, but they don't look really appetizing to eat, but you feel really bad throwing it away because you've spent a lot of money on that food. Well, I'm here today to help you find out about what you can use different things for that seem to be going bad. So the first thing I have on my list is orange rinds or lemons or limes. When you are actually making up, maybe you're making a smoothie and you're putting an orange in it and you have the rinds left over, do not throw those out. Those can actually be put into the freezer. As you can see here, I have it labeled orange rinds and they're just cut up from having cut up an orange. You can pull these out and you can actually zest them. Now, zesting is actually just the finely grating of the rind to add a bold orange flavor to either baked goods, or you can even put it on fruit salads. Zesting is awesome. I love zesting. But when you put it in the freezer, you can just pull it out and you can actually zest it while it's frozen. So you save the rind, you don't throw it away, and you have a second use for it. The second thing I want to tell you about, and I have actually 10 things to tell you today, but I'm going to be fast, don't worry, is limp veggies. Second one is limp veggies. As you see here, I had cut up some celery, and if you look in my food prep video, you'll see why I actually cut up all my veggies. But these are looking a little tired. See, when they start actually curling a little bit, means they're a little tired. And they're fine to eat. They're not bad for you. But what you can actually do with these to revive them is to chop them up fine and stick them in a freezer bag and stick them in the freezer. Now, when you're making a soup or you're putting together a stir fry, you can pull out these frozen veggies and throw them into the casserole or throw them into the stir fry. They're great because the freezing process will actually stop them from going bad, and they will be good and wonderful in your soups, in your stews, or in any kind of cooking that you're going to be doing. The third tip I have for you, and I don't actually have any to show you, so I'm just going to give you a little example, is old rice. So you've made a bunch of rice for a stir fry and you have some left over. Pull out a freezer bag and put whatever rice you have left over into that freezer bag and stick it in the freezer. Now you might be thinking, why would I freeze my rice? Well, it is great in fried rice because actually fried rice is better when it's 4-day old rice, or if it's frozen rice, because it's a little drier and it's going to get crisper. But what you do is you just label it rice and you put the date on it, and you can use this up at a later time. Again, the freezing process is going to delay it from going bad. So if you've made too much rice for a recipe and you're not using it up, stick it in a freezer bag and use it for some fried rice at a later time. Fourth idea I have for you today is tired fruit. Do any of you have bananas that start looking like this and you're like, I don't really want to eat it because it's kind of soft and nasty? What I would suggest you do is either make banana bread, because baking, I love it, or put together some smoothie bags. So this smoothie bag I've already put together, and it just has bananas in it, and I normally put about a banana to each freezer bag for the smoothies. It has some kiwis in it, it has some apples, and I sometimes put oranges in here. You can also put spinach if your spinach is about ready to go bad. And this freezer bag will save your mornings. You pull it out, you stick all these ingredients into your blender, add some milk or add some yogurt to give it some more liquidy consistency, and you have a freezer smoothie bag ready to go. And you don't even have to buy the expensive one at the store. So that tired fruit, don't throw it away, put it in the freezer, and you can use it at a later time. It's also great if you just have so many bananas, which I normally have tons of bananas for some reason. I buy too many, apparently. I just put them in a bag to use for my banana bread if I don't have time to make it right away. This can just be thawed on the counter for a little while. It doesn't even need to be thawed that much, but just so it's a little bit softer, not completely frozen. And you just pour it straight into your bread recipe. And I can link a banana bread recipe below so you can see how that is made. The fifth idea I have for you is cooked meats. Oftentimes I will cook a ton of meat thinking that we're going to eat all of it, and we don't. So I put it into a container, and this one is already frozen. It's taco chicken. It's just the taco chicken. It has a little bit of corn in it. You just put it in a container and stick it in the freezer, and then you can pull this out at a later date to actually either reheat it up and just have it as taco chicken, or you can stick this in soup. Or if you just have some chicken that you've made up, some chicken breasts, and you're just not eating it, you're tired of it, but you don't want to throw it away, and you shouldn't throw it away because it will waste your money. Put it in a freezer container, stick it in the freezer, label it so you know what it is. And then when you're making that meal plan, look in your freezer and see what you actually have, and then you can reuse this meat. And it saves you time and it saves you money. It's already cooked. And if you don't know how to make a meal plan, look in the description box below, and I have a video there teaching you how to make a meal plan. The sixth idea I have for you is baked goods. I love baking, love it. And I make baked goods all the time. But a lot of times we're done eating that baked good, or I've made too many, or actually sometimes I even purposefully do this where I'll make too many so I can stick some in the freezer. Here we have some bagels, as you see on the label, that I've just stuck in the freezer. Now, we weren't going through these fast enough because I had made a ton, and so I just stick them in the freezer in a freezer bag so it will protect them. And when I need a bagel, I can just either pull one out and just defrost it quickly in the toaster or in the microwave really, really fast. Or I can bring these out and thaw them out on the counter and then eat them throughout the week. This saves you, again, some money because you're not wasting your baked goods. The same can be said of old bread, which actually I have no old bread to show you because I love bread. But if you ever have like the ends of the bread left, like the crust, or just a few pieces left, or maybe you just were tired of sandwiches that week and the bread went bad. If it's not moldy, do not eat moldy bread. You will get sick. If it's just dried out, stick it on a tray and stick it in the oven about 350, 400 degrees and just toast it up really fast. And then you can use that either for grind it up and make some breadcrumbs, or if it's not so dry, you can actually make some garlic bread to go with maybe some spaghetti. So never throw out that old bread. The eighth idea I have for you is with tomato sauce. Have you ever had a recipe that calls for a tablespoon of tomato paste, and then you have the rest of the container left? I never understand this. What I've started doing is actually I just have this jar in the refrigerator and I label it pizza sauce. If any recipe calls for tomato sauce, tomato paste, and I have some left over, I just pour it straight in here. The great thing about this is that not only are you saving the extras of the can, of the ingredient, but you also are making your own pizza sauce. Pizza sauce is so easy to make. Never buy it, folks. All you need to do then before you make a pizza is add in some seasonings like garlic powder, salt, pepper, and Italian seasoning. You mix it up. If it's a little too pasty because you've had a lot of extra pasty tomato paste, add in a little water and you will have an amazing pizza sauce. And I just have this container in the refrigerator so I can just add stuff into it whenever I have any extras. And at this point, I don't have any extras. The ninth idea I have for you is like for not old beans, but for beans. Like sometimes a recipe will call for a cup of beans and you have a can of beans, and normally a can is about a cup and a little bit extra. So you have some extra beans. Stick them again into a freezer bag or a freezer container and freeze them for later. And if you just start accumulating those, like you can stick multiple varieties in one bag, then you will actually have a ton of beans for like a chili or a soup that you can quickly pull out, thaw either in the microwave or just on your counter, and you will have beans ready to go. Again, this is an idea for you to save the food. Don't throw it away. Save it for other uses. Always be thinking of multiple uses for your ingredients. The last tip I have for you is to label. Make sure you label your things. As you've seen in pretty much all the things I've showcased here, everything has a label on it. Taco chicken or pizza sauce on my pizza sauce container. Not only does this help you remember what you actually have put into a container, but it will also help the other people that may live in your house. when they're looking in the refrigerator and like, what's this random container with red stuff in it? Is this usable? It will have a label on it and they'll know what it is. Also, especially for meats, and you'll see I did a boo-boo here and I didn't do this. For meats, you especially really want to put a date on there. They're not necessarily going to go bad as to make you sick, but after about 3 to 4 months, it's just going to taste kind of So you'll want to use it before then. So these are 10 different ideas for you on how you can use food that you already have in another purpose. So do not throw out that food. Use it in a different way. So these are life skills for you for what you can do to help save on your time, save on your budgeting, so that you can use all of the resources that God has given you in a productive and meaningful way. Now, do you have any substitutions, or not substitutions, things that you have found that you can reuse in a different way? Tell me in the comment boxes below on things that you have found that you can use in a variety of ways. Talk to you soon.